Okay, we are now going to do application 14.2. We are going to begin a worksheet and do a couple of adjustments. And on application 14.2, they have done most of it for you. They've given you a few accounts that they want you to add in, and they've given you the account balance, but you have to know, of course, whether the account balance should be a debit or a credit. That's where you start. So the first one that we're going to do says line 6, we need to add supplies office. Now supplies is an asset, so its normal balance side is going to be a debit. So the account balance is going to go as a debit entry on the worksheet. The next one that we're going to add is accounts payable. And accounts payable is a liability. So because it's a liability, we are going to put that as a normal balance of a credit as soon as I fix this, because it bothers me. Okay, so we're going to put a credit in here. That balance is 17558.16. Then we're going to move down to purchases discount on line 33. So we're going to type purchases discount in here. Now, purchases discount is a contra account to purchases. That means it reduces purchases. So, if purchases has normal balance of a debit, because purchases discount is a contra account, just like purchases, returns, and allowances is, its normal balance is going to be a credit. If you get stuck and you can't remember, look at purchases. If it's a debit balance, then you know the discount's going to be a credit balance, or look at another contra account to purchases, like purchases, returns, and allowances. It has a credit balance, so that should tell you that purchases discount should have a credit balance. And the amount is 5155.28. The last one that they want us to add in is right here, salary expense. And salary expense, an expense has a normal balance of a debit. If you forget, look at these other expenses. They have normal balances of a debit, so it would stand to reason that this one should have normal balance of a debit. 193,971.80. Or what I just typed, which is wrong. 193. Holy camole, what's going on here? My number locks off. 193,971.80. Let's go back over here and type our salary expense back in. Okay. Your next instruction is to total, prove, and rule the trial balance. The trial balance is these first two columns of the worksheet. To total, prove, and rule, you need to add up every number in the debit column, put the number right here, and then add up every number in the credit column, put it right here, make sure they equal. Do not, although I know most of you will want to do this, do not add up one column, write the number here, and then just write the same number right here. If you don't add up the debits and then add up the credits, if you made a mistake somewhere, you're not going to catch it. And if you make a mistake in the trial balance, then the whole stinking worksheet's going to be wrong. So, I will tell you that the total of the trial balance column should be 1059,513.74. I know this because I have the answer right in front of me. Okay. Moving on to the next part. We are going to do adjustments for both supplies, office and store, and for prepaid insurance. So the first thing we need to do is go up here and look at our supplies. Our books show that our supplies office has $5,210.98. Now, our textbook tells us that we took a physical count of our office supplies, and it showed that in fact we actually had $489.73. So we no longer have $52.10.98. We now really have $489.73. So we need to adjust the $52.10.98 debit. We want $52.10.98 debit to become a $489.73 debit. And in order to do that, in order to reduce this, we're going to credit it. We're going to credit it for the difference. So you say 5210.98 minus 489.73 And that gives you 4721.25. Now, that's your credit side for this adjustment. That 472125 represents the office supplies that you used up throughout the period. So this 472125 supplies that you used up, we want to put that in supplies expense. So we're going to go down here in the adjustments column and we're going to put 4721.25 as a debit in supplies expense. Now we're going to go up here and we're going to look at our supply store. Our books say we have 43, 49, 44 right there. We did a physical count. We actually determined that we don't have 43, 49, 44. We have 701.19. So if we want to adjust this 4349.44 to make it become the actual 701.19, we need to reduce it by 364825, which is the difference. So in order to reduce that, we want to credit it, 3648.25. And now, just like before, this 364825 represents the amount of supplies that we used, store supplies that we used for the year. If you use an asset in the course of business in order to make money, the asset then becomes an expense, which is why we're going to debit supplies store expense 3648.25. Now, last one is insurance. Our books say we have prepaid insurance in the amount of $6,000. We take a look at it at the end of the year and our insurance is actually worth $500. So we need to adjust the $6,000 so it becomes $500. So we're going to reduce the $6,000. In order to reduce it, an asset, we're going to credit it $5,500. That $5,500 represents the amount of insurance that we used throughout the year. Once we use it, it becomes an expense. So we're going to go down here and we're going to debit insurance expense $5,500. And that is the end of application 14.2, but keep your worksheet because we are going to use it to finish up applications 14.3 through 14.6.